All right. So,
Sheesh, but all
like,
these cuties though.
yes, yes. Thank you so much for coming and doing this event. Like, normally I would be DJing along with you, but I really don't know the first thing about actually how to DJ metal. So, hopefully, I can take this time to learn a little bit about each one of you, and also maybe learn some skills that I can use to try to DJ metal myself. Normally we would go in the order of which DJ in the event, but honestly we're going to leave it open. So I'll ask a question, and anybody who wants to answer it, go right ahead, and then we'll just kind of go down the line until everybody's answered the question. So, how long have you guys been DJing for? Like, when did you start DJing?
Smells like a dub of the G.
You're like,
What's up?
fuck?
Hey,
So personally,
I've been DJing for about a year and a half.
are you still working for Micron?
Yeah, SeriousLove?
Yes, I am.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you in a while, my guy.
Can you two relocate, please? We're currently
Yes.
doing an interview at the moment.
Warned.
Oh, an interview.
Warned, honestly.
I should go Discord.
We might need to do a
Yeah, I can't
retake
believe
and
you're
then
doing
go
that.
over there
This is
because
Oh, yeah, this
people
is
come
fun
over
one.
here, and if they
Yep.
don't see anyone, then
Okay.
then they'll go away. But yeah, if
Yeah.
we relocate like down there, then it should be
Okay.
better.
That's what they're like. I'll put it right here.
I really like all this wood. This wood is really nice. I like the wood. Oh.
There we go. Yep. There we go. So we can start over. We'll start the recording over. Doop, doop, doop. So I got framed.
Let's try to have more even spacing. gDub, you're like behind Warren, so you had to like turn around. Like
Yeah.
it's like uneven, but yeah. It should.
Then I can. There we go. We got to do.
Just
We got.
clip through everybody that I possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be perfect. That is actually perfect right there. Okay. So. Let's go. Same first question again. How long have you been dating for? Let's go with serious.
I have been doing this since September of 2021. So I don't know, a little under a year.
Nice.
No, it's been a little under 2 years. It was 2020. Sorry.
All right. Still, pretty long time. gDub, how long have you been DJing for?
About 4 years. I think it was like 2017. I got my Vive and I started going to raves in VR, and then I started DJing in VR as well, like about a year later. So it's been like 3-4 years.
Nice. Wolvie, how long have you been DJing for?
Just about like a year and a half. Really only for events since about December like 2020.
Nice. All right. What got into DJing? Like, what inspired you? Let's go with gDub this time for the start.
Well, I had a kind of a weird path. I was coming into VR to like go to raves. There's this place called Wave, before VR chat got big, and I was going to raves there, and they had this system where you could throw your own party, and you could be not only a DJ but a VJ, and you could mess with all the like visuals in the world. And I was really like into that, so I was trying to be a VJ, but like in order to get people to come and see my VJing, I would have to like put some music on. So I would mess around with the DJ decks. Eventually got decent at it and started doing it.
Wolvie, what got you started DJing?
I guess like hanging out at events, like getting into VR chat, just getting in VR and trying to like learn how to be better, like socializing. So one thing led to another. Started hosting events, being surrounded by music. I've always loved music, and one thing led to another, and I just started DJing.
Nice. All right, serious? What got you to start DJing? If you're
Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah.
um, in September of 2020, a friend of mine informed me that he was throwing a Disney-themed house party, and that they were looking for a DJ. And I said, you know what? I'll drive from Georgia to Vermont to come and DJ your house party, even though I've never DJ'd anything in my life. And I bought a used DJ controller from my local guitar center, and the rest is history. Got into VR about a year ago. I met so many cool people. I was like, where are all the metal DJs at? And then the more I started DJing metal at events, the more metal DJs I met. And now here we are. And there's more popping up every day.
Yes, very much so.
Hell yeah. I love to hear it.
What type of a DJ equipment do you currently use, or which DJ equipment did you start off with and transition to what you're currently using? Wolvie, you're first.
Just started with an SB3. I'm still using the SB3. I've played around with an FLX6. At one point gonna hopefully upgrade to Prime 4 or an 1000 SRT, but yeah. I make do with what I have, and it's fun. Oh
Good.
yeah.
What about you, Sirius? What do you DJ with, and what did you start off with? You're muted, probably. Wally,
Serious?
Yep, you're muted. Like should be like the catchphrase of the 2020s, you know. And Zoom, you're muted. All right. Well, we
Mic issues.
or he could have his potato in and go bye bye. gDub, while we wait.
True.
Well, I started out over at the Wave VR, and they had virtual decks within virtual reality, so you'd like be messing with the records and stuff in VR. It was really basic and really hard to DJ on, but I started out doing it with that, and then eventually I got invited to do DJs in VR chat, and so I needed some sort of controller. So for Christmas, I got from my girlfriend a $79 controller called the DJ2Go 2 or something like that. Like $79 plastic piece of shit, but it worked, and I did use that for like 6 months until like Christmas, and got a Tractor 3, S3, a real controller, and I've been using that ever since.
Nice. All right. Hopefully, I saw some movement out of Sirius.
Fixed my
Yeah, oh,
fucking mouthphone. I
Mouthaphone.
fixed it.
Yay!
My mouthphone. So, the controller that I used tonight is actually that controller that I picked up from that Guitar Center. It's a Mixtrack Pro 3, a Newmark Mixtrack Pro 3.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
I love it. It's got capacitive touch, like needle seeking. So like all of my effects are capacitive touch as well.
Ooh.
I couldn't imagine doing a rock and metal set without this thing. I tried to do a rock and metal set on an FLX6, and I wanted to cry because I could not just do that smooth effect shit.
Oh, that's awesome. That is
So
awesome.
I keep this thing around. I keep it around. It's good.
Nice. So kind of a question that I always ask any DJ is like, does DJ equipment make the DJ, or does the DJ skills help with the equipment? Let's go.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
let's go
I'll
serious.
tell you that. I'll tell you that in my case, like, it's all familiarity. Like I just said about this MT Pro 3, I do all of my rock and metal sets on it. I could squeeze out, an EDM or a house set or a D&B set, but on any other controller. But it's all about familiarity for me. Like, I know my library, I know my controller, and I know my crowds.
Nice. How about you, gDub?
Yeah, I don't know if I can weigh in on that much because I haven't really used any other controllers except for
Well, I mean, if you were to go back and use that DJ to go to today, would you be pulling off the same stunts?
well, for the type of DJing that I do, the controller doesn't matter as much, to be honest. But for most of the DJs that I idolize and go around and watch in here, like, and professional DJs that are out touring, definitely it matters a little bit what you have, and definitely familiarity. But yeah, it's also depending on if you're doing a lot of tricks or depending on what genres you're doing. If you're just doing dubstep with some straight cuts, it doesn't really matter, you know. But like if you're just spinning some deep house, like you might want to have more knobs and effects and shit like that.
Willie, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I'd actually have to agree with both of them, especially on the familiarity part. Like, and I think that ultimately just speaks more on the lines of it's not so much about the equipment, but about your own skill and your own creativity.
Yeah, so like if you're starting off DJing,
within reason.
yeah, within reason, like if you're starting off DJing, don't go up buy a couple $1,000 CDJs and expect to be amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Like if you if you haven't mastered the basics, then it doesn't matter how much money you drop on equipment. It's not going to help you at all.
Now, I'm a club DJ. Like I do EDM, four on the floor, house music, hard style, that type of stuff. What advice would you give a new DJ like myself to, if they want to transition into metal, or at least, go do a little bit metal here and there just for fun? Let's go serious.
Beat match by ear. Learn to EQ mix and volume mix in tandem, and I like to make heavy use of effects personally.
gDub.
I don't have a lot to add. I'm actually relatively new at mixing metal music, so I didn't do a whole lot of mixing tonight. But yeah, for sure.
It sounded good. So
yeah, I mean, I kind of just my sets are a little bit more about overall structure and song choice and key changes and things like that than the actual kind of like mixing stuff. So I'm new to that, and I'm always trying to like learn as I go.
nice. Movie. How about you?
Well, I'd say like of course agreeing with these two. But in addition, like just like there are a lot of different parts to like rock and metal and that kind of stuff, and it's very inconsistent. You can't always just like mix traditionally at all. So you have to get more creative sometimes. You just like play around with it and like see what works, and the more that you play around with everything, the more comfortable you get, the more things you'll figure out work. And yeah, more like there's lots of different kinds of phrasing. It's not, instead of just like four on the floor where you're just like phrasing on the beat and on the kick,
Yeah.
There's and in addition to that, the phrasing can be really inconsistent. So play around with it, and yeah, effects. There's lots of different things you can try to do. Yeah.
I want to sandbag, like piggyback on what you just said, and just say that this is definitely one of those. It's not going to be always time for a quick mix, like where you're just slamming 25 songs in 45 minutes. It's metal is a long form genre. songs are made to be complete, and sometimes entire albums or segments of albums are made as movements. So you can approach it sometimes as like a classical study, and bits of albums that work well together. The longer a set has for the DJ to explore, I think the more mature a set becomes. Like Cannon Cove used to do 2-hour sets. Now we're back to the standard hour. But man, like 2 hours to go through, every metal song that you have is awesome. You can really take your time and stretch your legs.
And then toward the end, like,
You have more time to tell a story.
Yeah, for sure.
And you could say that a lot about DJing is telling a story, like creating an experience for people to enjoy for the next hour and whatnot. Like, what advice would you give just to a new DJ just starting out? Like, what should they focus on first, getting the understanding of before they start progressing? Like, what should they do to learn how to crawl, to then learn to walk, and then learn to run and sprint? Let's go with gDub.
Well, you can go about it a couple ways. Some DJs, it's all about just practice, learning like effects and mixing and double drops and watching videos and tutorials and stuff like that. Or you could approach it more from a point of view of just wanting to share music with people and wanting to and kind of putting a lot of effort into preparing a set song by song in advance, so that you're putting on like somewhat of a polished, prepared show. And I've kind of gone that route, but I really I'm really impressed with people who take the other route of kind of like practice with all the complicated techniques until they're really good. And as opposed to practicing your transitions ahead of time and then playing them out like you're in a play that you've rehearsed. So either way, going about it, you can either do a lot of pre-planning and learn along the way how you want to structure sets, or you can just get out there and just mix, and just, if it doesn't work, just keep trying and just, I don't know. Yeah.
Serious. Want to add to that?
Yeah. I started off trying to mix on the fly and fell flat on my face.
Same.
And so I started doing
Me
like
too.
pre-planned mixes and actually like rehearsing transitions and so I watched a bunch of videos, right? And I was like, I got to get a general idea. I watched a bunch of my friends who were DJs, particularly like DJ Cyber Obsequious V2. Love this guy. He was my main inspiration for getting into VChat. And you could always see what he's doing on his board on his stream, so I would watch that. So I would say repetition, having a reference, like being able to see somebody doing it live and experiencing a live set, and then song choice are your 3 big things. In fact, I would even go so far as add a 4th big thing and just say, nah, man, you also have to know how to beat match. You don't know how to beat match, it doesn't matter if you have the best songs. If they're coming
Well,
in
yeah,
at
it's
the-
gonna sound
Yes.
horrible.
Yes. All right. Well, anything you
But
want to add?
maybe you can get away with that in metal. You can say like, "Oh no, dude, I'm just injecting some syncopation into the mix, bro."
No. The drummer had a stroke during
I
this.
mean, it's kind of true. Within reason, that's really kind of true with metal. Like, yeah, it's designed to be a little muddy sometimes, But yeah, in addition to what these guys said, I have to say, like, the most important thing for like someone who's trying to learn how to DJ is, just like focus on the fundamentals. Like you can find tons of videos on all kinds of like tricks, but like you really like the most important things are like song selection, beat matching, and like overall vibe,
Mm-hmm.
and like phrasing. And then like after that is like stuff like key matching, but like honestly that's one of the things that's a focus after all of that, because if you're not beat matching, then it doesn't matter if everything's in key, it's not going to sound good.
No.
And if things are out of phrase, then things are just not going to like line up at all, and yeah, you're going to have a bad time.
Bad time.
So yeah, fundamentals are way more important.
Yep. So everybody makes mistakes when DJing. You miss miss a phrase. You get out of sync with the beats. How do you react, or how do you solve that issue? I'm gonna go with Wolfie the first this time.
I mean, it's all like situational, and it's more like trying to feel the music, like you'll hear it as it's happening. If you know the songs at all, then you'll like kind of hear it before it happens. Like you'll try to line it up, you'll think that this is good, and then you'll notice, this is not what I expected, and then you'll compensate. And there's like auto loops, effects, you mess with the EQs, you like switch it up, and sometimes like almost like Bob Ross, like a lot
Happy
of
little
times, like
accidents.
mistakes will be happy little accidents. Exactly. Like sometimes you'll actually end up in a point where if you don't panic, then sometimes it'll actually end up being better than what you had imagined in the first place, and you'll always notice mistakes more than anyone else. You just have to like listen back to it, and yeah, trust the people around you.
Serious. What about yourself? Anything you want to add?
I mean, Wolfie's hitting all the all the fine points, but I mean, for me, I make a game out of it sometimes. Like in my Twitch stream, we have a thing where if I notice that, like, oh wow, I actually noticeably fucked up that transition, and I'm feeling super self-conscious about it, I'll turn my low pass filter all the way down so it's just nothing but bumps, and then I'll start talking over the music, and I'm like, all right, y'all know the rules. DJ messes up the transition, everybody takes a shot. Cheers.
Honestly, I'll
and
do that too. If I fuck up too bad, just like cheers. Sorry.
Yeah, cheers.
drink until you don't notice it anymore.
Super self-conscious about it. But as long as you don't panic, just like Wolfie said, everything's fine. Crowds are way more forgiving than we give them credit for.
Or yeah, even us DJs too. Like, oh, that was a really crappy transition. Whatever, keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, anything you want to add?
Everyone might notice it, but
yeah.
No, yeah, most of the time just ignore it, and people will as well. And you can always just toss something in your stream. This is nice with Twitch. I can just type in my stream, if I don't want to even get on the mic, I can just be like, oh, well, that wasn't quite how I wanted it, but let's keep going or something.
Yeah, like the number one thing is just, if you make a mistake, continue. Don't throw up your hands or like, oh, I made a mistake, or like, you made a mistake. Learn from the future, like how to not what caused the mistake, so you can in the future not do it again. This is a fun question that I always ask all my DJs. Like, if you were to send back, a one message in time, let's say like a tweet back in time to you when you're first starting DJing, what would you send back? Like, would you give yourself a sage advice saying, hey, or like tell yourself like what pitfalls to avoid, or would you send yourself back a message saying, hey, you're on a good path, keep it up? Like, what would you send back? We're going to go with gDub this time.
Me first?
Yes. If you need more time to think, we can always go to somebody else.
Yeah, maybe. I'm still thinking. That's a good.
Uh,
That's a good question.
Movie or
Use
series?
as serious.
Okay. I would say, hey, you don't give up. It's not as hard or as scary as you think it is. Uh, People care a lot less that you're a DJ than if you're in a band. And, um, you're not God's gift to VR chat just because you're the first metal DJ that you've found. That's what I would tell myself.
So to basically tell yourself to have a little bit of humility.
Yes, heaping handful of humility.
Nice. Definitely good advice. You got yours yet, gDub movie?
I don't have anything clever, but I was gonna say maybe maybe ditch that girl now. I had a girlfriend when I started DJing that really hindered me from getting into it, and then she left me, and then I got really into it. So I've never been happier.
Okay, I'll accept that answer. I can definitely.
Hell
accept that
yeah,
answer.
dude.
Get her the baggage, brother.
Disregard females. Acquire
Right.
track IDs.
Exactly. Holy shit! In contrast of both of these guys, I would say ditch that boy in similar circumstances to gDub. And then opposite of serious would be like have more confidence and like listen back to sets more. That was one thing that I forgot about the fundamentals. Like when you're starting out, definitely like listen, like record yourself and just like listen back to it, and also just like save the recordings because one day, like a year or two down the line, you'll want to like listen back to yourself and just like laugh at it, you know,
Exactly. Yeah, like I listened
and
to.
just see how far you came.
Yeah, like I listened to my first set that I ever
Sorry.
done was a hardstyle set. I did not know anything about phrasing. I didn't know about transitions. I didn't know how to do the beat grids properly. It was just a freaking royal mess. But I look at it, listen to it now, I'm like, okay, yeah, that was a heaping pile of crap. But hey, it's my heaping pile of crap, and it's where I started.
Amen.
And then I listen to sets that I do now. I'm like, oh, that's just less crap, but more polished. All right. Any final things you want to say to the audience or people who will be watching this on YouTube eventually? I'll take that.
Metal's
Mom.
not dead.
Yeah, metal is definitely not dead. Metal is definitely an amazing genre. Like that's why I wanted to do like an iWait event with this three metalheads, because most people think like, oh, mixing DJ. They're thinking, you know, your classical, you know, your house, your, you know, hardstyle, da da da. Like no, anything that has music, you could potentially mix it. And I kind of want to prove, you know, you guys definitely prove that yes, metal can be mixed. Metal can sound royally awesome when mixed properly, even improperly, because it sounds like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and plug your Twitches or your basically your socials, your Twitches, your YouTubes, whatever. gDub.
Twitch is GDUB__. Same with Twitch or same with Twitter, basically. Yeah, just search for GDUB 2 underscores.
Yep. Wolfie.
My Twitch is Wolfie, the L is a 1, and my Twitter is DJ Wolfie, the L is a 1. And that's about it.
All right. And SeriousLove.
My Twitch is SeriousLove Wiz, all lowercase. Like Serious Love and then WIZ, as in wizard. My Twitter is Tom Drill M. Don't find me on Twitter. You don't want to find me on Twitter.
A lot of not safe for work stuff, huh?
No, just really bad takes. Not worth your time.
Oh, now the people have to follow for to see the bad takes. Like, let's watch the train wreck. All right, yeah. And if you guys have not followed these amazing people, please do go ahead and get them followed. For me, my name is Warned One. I am the host of this event. I run this event every Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, whether it's Daylight Savings or Standard Time. My Twitch is twitch.tv/warned1. That's WARNED and the numeral number 1. My Twitter is actually WARNEDONE. Apparently somebody out there already has Warned One, which I should probably copyright my name and just trademark my name and tell Twitch, Twitter, give me my username. But that's neither here nor there. Next week at 7 p.m., we're going to do a iWait hard style event. So if you love the hard music, come join me. We got 3 amazing DJs. One of them is actually brand new. They started DJing like less than 2 months ago. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they can put out. But thanks again so much for you 3 to making this night such a very wonderful, heavy, hard metal night.
Oh, thanks for putting it together.
Hell yeah.
gDub.
Thank you, Warren. Hey,
Yes.
hey, everyone.
Warned.
Head pat Warren.
Yes.
Everyone together, come on.
Yeah, here. I'll just move down so you can hear. There, move down so you have your hands. Headbutts. All right, we're going to go ahead and